Well, welcome back to York, Pennsylvania at Peoples Bank Park for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and the York Revolution. Blue Crabs have won 3 in a row. They're looking for their 4th consecutive win, but they're also looking for their first series win in their last 3 tries. The Blue Crabs lost 2 out of 3 against Long Island. They split 2 out of 4 against Charleston. The Blue Crabs won each of the first 9 series of the year as they look to get back on the right track this evening. Well, let's run through the lineups for today's game. For the Blue Crabs, it is Matt Hibbert who will lead things off again. He's playing left field. Michael Wolanski bats second. He's at second base, making his first appearance for the Blue Crabs. Zach Collier's in the 3 spot. He's in center field. Jared Walker plays first base. Alex Crosby is across the diamond at third base. He bats fifth. Braxton Lee back in the 6th hole. He's in right field. Joe DeLuca, the designated hitter, bats 7th. Ryan Haug is behind the plate once again. And Michael Baca closes out the lineup. He's playing shortstop. No changes today with the exception of Wolanski in at second base. And Raul Shah is out. On the mound for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, it is Denson Hull, and Hull had a terrific start to the season. In Hull's first 5 starts, he pitched 26 and a third innings. He allowed just 2 runs. This is the 8th appearance of the year for Hull. In his last 2, things have been a little bit tougher for the lefty. He's gone 11 innings, allowed 6 earned runs. The home run ball has gotten to him. He's allowed 3 homers in the last 2 outings. Well, on to the York Revolution. They have Troy Stokes Jr. to lead things off. He came in as a pinch hitter in yesterday's contest. Elmer Reyes bats in second. Melky Mesa is the 3 hitter. He's in left. Nelly Rodriguez is the cleanup guy. He's at first base. Carlos Franco bats 5th. He's across the diamond at third. JC Encarnacion, he was in right field yesterday. He's the designated hitter in the 6th spot today. Connor Lean gets the start for the Revs. He had the day off yesterday. He'll be in center field. Lenin Rodriguez is doing the catching. He bats 8th. And Jeffrey Perez, who was the leadoff hitter yesterday, is in the 9 spot today. He's back at second base. On the mound for the York Revolution is Eduardo Rivera. On the year, Rivera comes into this one with a 3.46 ERA, a 2-1 record. He's had his fair share of control problems, but he's also had his fair share of terrific outings. His last time out, he went 8 innings, allowed just 3 hits and an unearned run. And the Blue Crabs might just have their hands full with him after a massive performance yesterday when they scored 10 runs on 16 hits. Their last 2 games combined, the Blue Crabs have had 34 hits. So the bats have been rolling for Southern Maryland. It was the top of the lineup that had some trouble in yesterday's game as the top 3 hitters went 0 for 14. The bottom 6 hitters in the lineup went 16 for 28, batting right around .550. So we'll have to see if the bottom of the lineup can continue hitting. Stan Clyburn does not make any changes 4 through 9 for Southern Maryland. Well, we are just moments away from the first pitch and the national anthem here from Peoples Bank Park. We will step aside. When we come back, it's time for the first pitch. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Patrick Baker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
When you need a win on the road, don't get left stranded. Make AAA part of your roster, and you'll always have someone on deck ready to get you home. AAA also offers car care, insurance, and travel services, and has stores conveniently located for Blue Crabs fans in Brandywine, Crofton, and Alexandria. Don't forget to ask them about membership discounts for military and first responders. Please visit AAA.com to learn more or to find a AAA location near you.
This is Dalton Geeky, and you're listening to Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Andrew Riceno, and you are listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the Switch. I like the scribble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home, whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736.
Fans, please rise if you're able. If you hold in America, welcome Greg Witterman for the performance of our national anthem presented by Americhoice Federal Credit Union. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's
Well, that was a terrific rendition of the national anthem, as the wind is clearly blowing the American flag out toward right field, as we'll have to see if we have some extra home run balls flying out in that direction today. Well, again, we are just moments away from the start of this ball game. It's Eduardo Rivera who gets the start for the York Revolution. The Blue Crabs come into today's game with a 26-9 record. It's Matt Hibbert who leads things off for the Blue Crabs. He's out in left field. Michael Wolanski is playing in his first game in a Blue Crabs uniform. He is at second base. Batting third, it's the center fielder today, Zach Collier. And for the cleanup hitter, that's Jared Walker. He's at first base. Braxton Lee is the sixth hitter. He'll follow Alex Crosby, who's at third base. Joe DeLuca's the designated hitter. Ryan Haug is the catcher. And Michael Baca is at shortstop. Well, on the mound, it is Eduardo Rivera for the York Revolution. He's had a bit of an up-and-down season. Rivera has a 2-1 record, a 3.46 ERA. He's been used as both a reliever and a starter. He was a reliever for the first 4 appearances, and then his last 3 outings he's come in as a starter. And his best performance was probably his last appearance, when he went 8 innings, allowing just 3 hits and an unearned run. The walks have been a bit of an issue for Rivera. Across 26 innings, he has issued 16 walks. The season didn't start so well for Rivera. Out of the bullpen in his first outing, across 2/3 of an inning, he walked 4 and allowed 3 earned runs, and that was sort of the biggest issue for him. From there, he had a number of better appearances, and in the month of May, his ERA is just 2.31. Well, Matt Hibbert will lead things off. Hibbert, a right-handed hitter, was 0 for 5 yesterday. He did reach via a walk. Well, Rivera is set. The first pitch, swinging a high pop-up right field. It's Troy Stokes Jr., the right fielder, who drifts over a couple of steps towards the right field line, where he makes the catch chest high for the first out. Well, a very quick 1 pitch and 1 out from Eduardo Rivera, the right-handed pitcher. And that brings Michael Wolanski to the plate. Wolanski played with the Ducks up until this point. Was traded yesterday. So the first pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Wolanski batted .200 with the Ducks and got off to a very fast start, as the 1-0 pitch is upstairs and the count 2 balls and no strikes. In the month of April, he hit .471 with a .500 on-base percentage, as the 2-0 pitch is away and the count 3 balls and no strikes. But in the month of May, Wolanski struggled a little bit. An .087 batting average. He does have a couple of RBIs, but his numbers have dropped since their initial strong start. 3-0 pitch, that's away, and ball 4 issued by Eduardo Rivera, and that was exactly what was in the scouting report. He does struggle with his command. So after a first pitch out to the leadoff hitter, Matt Hibbert, Rivera issues a 4-pitch walk to the Blue Crabs newcomer, Michael Wolanski. Zach Collier digs in from the left side. Collier was without a hit yesterday. He also did reach base. He was 0 for 4 with a walk. They fire over to first to check on Wolanski. The first baseman, Nelly Rodriguez, dropped the ball, but he kept it in front of himself. While Wolanski dove back to the bag, Hibbert steps back in from the left side. With 1 away in the top of the first inning. Pitch, big swing and a miss. It was a fastball that was low and out of the zone, but Collier chased in the count 0-1. It's Jared Walker who stands on deck. The power bat had been going through a bit of a slump, but he had 3 hits yesterday. The 0-1 to Collier, swinging a high chopper. Rodriguez steps on the bag, throws to second. It's offline. And Wolanski able to reach second base. Well, Nelly Rodriguez did the right thing to get the easy out at first base. The last thing you want to do is force a throw to second where it might be a close play and then try to double him back up at first. If you have the easy out there and you can make a good throw, you can turn 2. And you know you're going to get that first out. Rodriguez did that there, and there are 2 away. Runner on second base in the top of the first. Still no score from Peoples Bank Park in York, Pennsylvania. Walker, the lefty, steps in. Batters 4 through 9 in the Blue Crabs order yesterday went 16 for 28. Rivera the pitch. It's upstairs, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Well, after a really strong performance in his last start, going 8 innings, allowing 3 hits and 3 walks, he has issued a walk early but retired a couple of batters. Pitch to Jared Walker, a called strike at the belt. Rivera will throw in the low 90s. Count a ball and a strike on Walker. With Wolanski leading off second. Here's the pitch. That's away. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Yesterday, the strike zone was pretty large, especially on the inside and outside corners. But so far, Dave Snyder calls a ball on that one. It was a close pitch. Rivera, the offering, swing and a miss at a breaking ball low and out of the zone. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Southern Maryland is looking for their 4th straight win of the year, or 4th consecutive win, I should say, and their 10th series win of the year. With a runner on second base and 2 outs. Rivera set. Here's the 2-2. Check swing. Walker went around, and that's strike 3. Well, the Blue Crabs strand 1 at the end of 1. It's no score from Peoples Bank Park in York, Pennsylvania. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Patrick Baker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
When you need a win on the road, don't get left stranded. Make AAA part of your roster, and you'll always have someone on deck ready to get you home. AAA also offers car care, insurance, and travel services, and has stores conveniently located for Blue Crabs fans in Brandywine, Crofton, and Alexandria. Don't forget to ask them about membership discounts for military and first responders. Please visit AAA.com to learn more or to find a AAA location near you.
This is Dalton Geeky, and you're listening to Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, we bring you to the bottom of the first inning. No score from Peoples Bank Ballpark, as the Blue Crabs send Denson Hull to the mound for his 8th start of the season. He comes in with a terrific 1.93 ERA. His last 2 starts haven't been quite as good as his first 5. Over the course of his first 5 starts, he pitched 26 innings and had a 0.68 ERA. It's Troy Stokes to lead things off in the bottom of the first inning. Denson Hull, one of 3 lefties that the Blue Crabs use. Southern Maryland only has 2 right-handed pitchers of their 5 on the staff. Thompson, along with Butler, 2 MLB veterans, are the righties. 3 lefties include Lamson, Hull, and Mackenzie Mills. First pitch is a called strike on the leadoff hitter, Troy Stokes Jr., who hits .271 on the year, has 5 home runs and 18 RBIs, playing out in right field tonight. Had the day off yesterday. Well, there was no off day on Monday. The 0-1 hit a high fly ball, deep right center field, back to the warning track at the wall. It is gone. A solo leadoff home run from Troy Stokes Jr. And it's a 1-0 start for the Revs. Very well hit from Stokes Jr. He goes the other way and gives the Revs a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning. Well, a very similar start to yesterday's game when Darrell Thompson surrendered 3 runs in the bottom of the first. The Blue Crabs rallied for 8 unanswered. And Thompson managed to pitch a strong outing, allowing just 4 runs across 6 innings. When he was actually on the mound, he did not allow another run after the first. Here is the first pitch now to the 2-hitter, Elmer Reyes. That's low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Well, the Revs have a 1-0 lead. Hull is set. The lefty deals. Swinging a line drive foul, third base side, gets into the seats and deflects onto the field. We'll have to see who's going to go get it. Matt Latos, who's in no hurry, kicks it with the back of his heel back toward the Blue Crabs bullpen. We'll have to see if a fan's going to get a ball or it's going to stick in this game. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's inside. Count 2 balls and 1 strike on Elmer Reyes, who started the damage last night in the first after Jeffrey Perez singled. Elmer Reyes, Nelly Rodriguez, and Carlos Franco all double. 2-1 pitch cut on and fouled off third base side over toward the Blue Crabs bullpen, and the count 2-2. Well, we're happy to have you with us on what is a somewhat unpleasant evening in York. I mean, temperatures, that feels like at least, is 94. High humidity. Everybody's got to be sweating at least a little bit in this weather. There is a bit of a breeze if you're out there. 2-2 pitch, swinging a tapper foul, third base side toward the Blue Crabs dugout. Actually rolls into the Blue Crabs dugout. Manager Stan Clyburn stays there on the railing, did not move as that ball rolled right past him. It was Joe Walsh, the bench coach, who got up. Tossed over to Eddie Butler, who sends it to a fan in the crowd. Here's the 2-2. Just a little bit inside. Elmer Reyes sold it as he moved his hips way out of the way as if it was going to come in and hit him. And the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Base paths empty, no outs. 1-0 York after the solo home run to Troy Stokes Jr. Here's the 3-2. Swinging a ground ball over to short. Nicely fielded by Baca. He throws across the diamond to complete the routine out. So there's 1 away in the bottom of the second inning. Following the leadoff homer from Troy Stokes Jr. and a long at bat that Denson Hull worked through. Well, the Blue Crabs bullpen this year has been known to be outstanding. That might even be an understatement. Once you get to 7, 8, and 9, forget about it, has sort of been the MO for the Blue Crabs bullpen. But yesterday, the York Revolution scored 5 runs across the 7th, 8th, and 9th. The pitch, this one swung and tapped foul off of his bat twice. And the count 0-1. Well, 5 runs were actually charged to the bullpen. There were a total of 6 runs in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Bradley Roney allowed a 3-run shot. One of those runs was charged to Darrell Thompson. They scored 1 unearned run off of Briseño and a 2-run homer from Carlos Franco. 0-1 to Melky Mesa is cut on and fouled off first base side in the count 0-2. Base paths are empty with 1 out in the bottom of the first inning. It's Nelly Rodriguez, the first baseman, who stands on deck, and then the aforementioned Carlos Franco in the hole, who hit home runs 10 and 11 on the year. 0-2. Oh, looked awfully close, but missed just outside. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter, Melky Mesa. He taps home plate twice. Points his bat out towards center field, now back behind his helmet. 1-2 offering. That's a fastball up and away at 90 miles an hour. Hull picks up the rosin bag, and it's going to be sweaty tonight. I don't think there's any question about that. With the temperatures where they are, with the humidity where it is, it's sort of a foregone conclusion. 2-2 pitch, called strike 3 on the inner half. Melky Mesa not happy with it, but the home plate umpire Dave Snyder rings up Melky Mesa, and there are 2 away in the bottom of the first inning. And here comes Nelly Rodriguez. Well, throughout the evening, Denson Hull's been at 90 to 91 with the fastball, compared to 93 for Eduardo Rivera. He was sitting 91, 92, touched 93 on a couple of occasions. First pitch, breaking ball low and in from the lefty, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Hull does have a real variety of pitches, and there's no doubt you're not going to throw quite as fast as a starter as you are as a reliever. You see a number of instances of that. 1-0 pitch, fastball, close, just a little bit away, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Nelly Rodriguez at the plate, a 1-0 lead for York. They struck first on a solo shot from Troy Stokes Jr. Here is the 2-0 pitch. Swinging a ground ball over to short. Another play for Michael Baca, who tosses on to first in plenty of time for the final out. Well, the Revolution score 1 on a leadoff solo shot from Troy Stokes Jr. From there, Denson Hull retires the side in order. At the end of 1, it's the Rebs 1 and the Blue Crabs 0. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Andres Briseño, and you are listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the Switch. I like the Scrabble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home. Whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-5252. 2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
Well, a first pitch swinging to Alex Crosby, a slow roller down the first baseline. It's the pitcher Eduardo Rivera who quickly fields and tosses to first in time for the first out. Well, there is one away in the top of the second inning. The York Revolution have a 1-0 lead over the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Came off of a solo home run from Troy Stokes Jr. in the bottom of the first inning. Well, Troy Stokes Jr. did play yesterday, had the day off. He did appear as a pinch hitter late in the game, as Braxton Lee steps in, coming off of his best game as a Blue Crab this season. Went 4 for 4. First pitch low and in, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. And for someone who was hitting 1 for 17 to start the season, his batting average all the way up to 296. 1-0 pitch, called strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, in the month of May, Braxton Lee really thrived with a .317 batting average. 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on the lefty. Rivera throwing in the low 90s. Last one at 93 actually. 1-2 pitch, a gutsy take from Braxton Lee, but it's off the outside corner for ball 2. 1-0 York in the top of the second. The 2-2 pitch, a breaking ball, keeps Braxton Lee off balance as he swings through it for the second out of the inning. So there are 2 away now in the top of the second, and here comes Joe DeLuca, who was 1 for 5 yesterday, but he tallied 3 RBIs. 2 of them came in a 9th inning home run that gave the Blue Crabs the lead, and it was ultimately the game-winning home run, or the game-winning runs, as the Blue Crabs took a 10-7 lead at the time. But the Revs added 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, so they would have won a walk-off otherwise. First pitch, called strike on the outside corner, an off-speed pitch. And the count 0-1. 0-1 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, deep right field, down the line, and that ball is a foul ball as it deflects off the yellow tent. It was maybe only 10 feet right of that right field foul pole, and Joe DeLuca would have had as many home runs, or 2 home runs and as many at-bats. But instead he pulled it foul down the right field line. Count no balls and 2 strikes now on the lefty. Got a pitch over the middle. Well, Eduardo Rivera is staying in that same exact stance, despite the fact that Joe DeLuca is probably 15 seconds away from stepping into the batter's box. Well, now he's there and ready. Here is the 0-2 pitch. That's low and in. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rivera wanted strike 3 from home plate umpire Dave Snyder. Well, DeLuca nearly even the score at 1. Instead, it's still 1-0 York. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's away. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes on the lefty. As always, please comment if you would like a shout out in the YouTube chat. We're trying to get to that. If you comment before the top of the 5th inning, we'd be happy to give you a shout out on air. Here's the 2-2. That's a little bit low and in as well. Rivera was walking back toward the dugout yet again. He thought he had strike 3. Instead, it's ball 3, and there is a full count with 2 outs in the top of the second inning. The Blue Crabs earned 1 walk back in the first. It was a 4-pitch walk issued to Michael Wolanski. Here's the 3-2 offering. Swinging a ground ball foul first base side. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. That was the 6th pitch of the at-bat to Joe DeLuca. Rivera, through 1 2/3, has thrown 24 pitches. DeLuca with a practice swing before he steps back in. Southern Maryland is looking for their 4th straight win and their 10th series win of the year. 3-2 pitch, a breaking ball. That's upstairs. It's ball 4. And Rivera can't believe it. He thinks he was squeezed a little bit in that at-bat as there were a couple of pitches that were close on the inner half. And there's a runner on first base with 2 outs. And through our TrackMan here, we have the ability to see where the pitches were. And they were close. They did appear to be maybe an inch off the plate, but very close. Well, here is Ryan Haug, right-handed hitting catcher. Hitting at .392 on the year. First pitch curveball called strike, and the count 0-1. Well, Ryan Haug, during the month of May, hit .400. Hit .363 in April, and has a .392 batting average on the year. That's up from .259 in the American Association last year. 0-1. Called strike. Belt high, in the count 0-2. Well, we are happy to have you with us on a Wednesday evening. Wind blowing out toward right field. Rivera. The 0-2 pitch. Swinging a ground ball through the left side for a base hit. Ryan Haug with another hit. And that extends his hit streak to 5 games. And the Blue Crabs might have something cooking here in the second with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Well, after Walker and Crosby, or I beg your pardon, Crosby and Lee were retired to start the inning. The 2 Blue Crabs catchers, Joe DeLuca and Ryan Haug. DeLuca currently hitting as the DH. Pick up, or at reach base, I should say. DeLuca picked up a walk. Haug with a single to left. Southern Maryland now has a runner in scoring position for Michael Baca as the first pitch is a breaking ball on the outside corner, and the count 0-1. Well, Michael Baca is playing his best baseball of the year, at least at the plate, where he holds a 7-game hit streak. 0-1 pitch, that's low in the dirt. Effectively blocked by the catcher, Lenin Rodriguez. Joe DeLuca having a conversation out there with Elmer Reyes. And a lot of these guys have played together, whether it was in the winter leagues or elsewhere. A lot of players go down to Panama and Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic during the winter leagues. As the 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball off the plate. Just a little bit outside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike on Michael Baca. Well, Matt Hibbert, who is the leadoff hitter in the Blue Crabs lineup, stands on deck with runners on first and second with 2 outs. Here's the 2-1. That's a called strike at the knees. And the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes on Baca. We'll get to your shout-outs in the bottom of the second inning. We have another trivia question for you. That comes in the top of the 4th today. We're going to get you your answer in the top of the 6th. Give you a little more time. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss at a breaking ball low and out of the zone. And that ends the top of the second inning. Michael Baca has a couple of words for the home plate umpire, Dave Snyder. And at the end of 1.5 innings of play, it's York 1 and Southern Maryland nothing. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Patrick Baker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
American Radiology is the clear choice for all of your medical imaging needs. With locations in Charles and Calvert counties, they offer a full range of imaging services. Some of their latest innovations included 3D mammography and wide-open MRIs for our claustrophobic patients. For your convenience, they even offer extended weekday hours and Saturdays. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website at AmericanRadiology.com.
We join you back in the bottom of the second inning from Peoples Bank Park in York, Pennsylvania. Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Blue Crabs and the York Revolution. It's 1-0 York as Denson Hull returns for his second inning of work. And the first pitch to Carlos Franco runs way up and in. And the count 1 ball and no strikes on the left-handed hitter. Carlos Franco went deep twice yesterday in consecutive at-bats, once in the 7th, once in the 9th. His home runs cut the deficit from an 8-3 lead to an 8-6 lead in the 7th. As the 1-0 pitch, a breaking ball that looked close, but called the ball. It might have missed a little inside, but it's honestly tough to tell. And the count 2 balls and no strikes. Well, his first homer cut the deficit from 8-3 to 8-6. His second in the 9th cut it from 10-7 to 10-9. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high pop-up, third base side, headed over toward the Blue Crabs dugout and gets out of play next to a completely unsuspecting fan who's, or I think it's a staff member actually, who's pointing over towards somebody saying he had no idea that pitch was coming. Well, either way, the count 2 balls and 1 strike on the lefty. Blue Crabs, after winning the first 9 series of the season, we'll get to that point in a moment as the 2-1 is up and in. And the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Well, after winning the first 9 series of the year, Southern Maryland suffered a loss at Long Island where they fell in 2 out of 3 and then split the series with Charleston. So now have 9 wins. They have 1 loss and 1 draw. Well, a win today for the Blue Crabs, and they'd secure this series. 3-1, swinging a high pop-up again, foul, third base side, going to get into the seats. And the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Base paths empty as Franco leads things off. Denson Hull is set. Here is the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, deep center field, sends Collier back to the wall, and that ball is gone. 3 home runs in as many at-bats for Carlos Franco, who went deep yesterday in the 7th. He went deep yesterday in the 9th and goes deep today in the 2nd to give the Revs a 2-0 lead. You want someone who's got a power streak going. It's Carlos Franco, who can do no wrong at the plate and just sent a mammoth 420-foot bomb over the batter's eye in center field. Well, it is 2-0 York, and that was a blast. Cindy Cox says she's listening from San Antonio, Texas, watching Denson Hull on the bump. Hull came into this one with an ERA under 2. First pitch swinging now from JC Encarnacion. It's driven deep to center field, back to the warning track, and it's caught by Zach Collier just in front of the wall for the first out. So on back-to-back pitches, the Revs give them a ride, but the second one tracked down in center field by Zach Collier. Well, oh boy, is Carlos Franco hitting at the plate right now. Has terrific power. And to say it's been on display over the last couple of days, well, that's been an understatement. Here is the first pitch. Breaking ball low and in on Connor Lean. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. Carlos Franco, who now has 3 home runs and as many at-bats dating back to yesterday's game. Played as high as AAA with the Atlanta Braves. 1-0 pitch. That's low and away, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Franco hit .232 with 10 home runs back in 2017 with the Braves. His career high over the course of a season was 21 home runs. As a 2-0 pitch from Hull, swing and a miss from Connor Lean, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. York has taken a 2-0 lead. A leadoff home run in the first and a leadoff home run in the second. One out. Here is the pitch from Hull. Check swing. They motion down to first base, and the first base umpire, Scott Hart, said he held up. And the count now 3 balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter, Connor Lean. Well, we're happy to have everybody with us today. Temperatures earlier today were even warmer. I went on a run earlier today around 2 p.m. The feels like was 101. 3-1 pitch, that's upstairs. It's ball 4, and Connor Lean reaches via a walk. Lean, a former Blue Crab. He played for the Blue Crabs in their first series at Lexington, but was traded to York before the start of the second series. Lean played quite well, but the Blue Crabs have a surplus of outfielders. And Stan Clyburn thought he'd get more opportunities with York, and he has. Lean in center field today. Hull, the lefty, is set. The pitch to Lenin Rodriguez. Oh, it's close. A little bit outside in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. The zone seems pretty tight tonight from Dave Snyder. Lean off first. 1-0 pitch, swung on and fouled back to the netting in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the Blue Crabs won the final 2 games against Lexington. They win the first game of this series yesterday. As Hull tosses over to first to check on Lean. Blue Crabs trailed 3-0. They're down 2-0 now. When they trailed 3-0, though, they followed it up with 8 unanswered runs from the 2nd through the 7th innings. York fought back. Ultimately made it a 10-9 game. 1-1 pitch, swinging a hard line drive into left field for a base hit. Rodriguez aboard. So after a walk issued to Connor Lenine Rodriguez punches one through the left side. And there are runners on first and second with just one out. Well, here's the 9-hitter, Jeffrey Perez. Perez was the leadoff hitter yesterday and started the rally in the first inning that put York up 3-0 at the time. It was a leadoff single from Jeffrey Perez before Elmer Reyes drove him in. Nelly Rodriguez and Carlos Franco followed him up with doubles of their own. First pitch cut on, foul back to the protective netting, once again behind home plate. And the count, no balls and one strike. Well, it's 2-0 York. A run in the first and a run here in the second. And the Revs are threatening here. Hull gets his sign from the catcher, Ryan Haug. He sets up a little bit low and away. Big curveball well out of the zone. It slipped out of his hand. And the count, 1-1 strike. Nearly got away from Ryan Haug, but he leaped up to get that ball. Prevented both Connor Lean and Lenine Rodriguez from advancing from first and second to second and third. Would have put two runners in scoring position with just one out. Count, a ball and a strike. Here's the pitch from Hull. That's up and away. Count, 2 balls and no strikes. Or 1 strike, I should say. Denson Hull, through an inning and a third, has thrown 34 pitches. Surrendered 2 runs. Both of them come via the home run. Hull allowed 2 runs, 2 home runs in his last start as well. Over the course of his last 3 outings now, he's allowed 5 homers. 2-1. Up and away again, and the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. He's missed pretty wildly up and away for 3 consecutive pitches. And the count, 3-1 on Jeffrey Perez, who's hitting just .209 on the year. And once you get back to the top of this York lineup, it's not quite as balanced as the Blue Crabs lineup. There's a lot of pop right in the beginning of the lineup. 3-1, big wave and a miss, foul tip, and it knocks the Blue Crabs catcher Ryan Haug backward. As he sits down, he's going to walk it off now. It's tough to tell exactly where that hit him. If it hit him in the mask or hit him in the chest. And you've got a chest protector, you've got a face mask, of course. Doesn't mean it's not going to sting if it hits you. Count, 3 balls and 2 strikes on Jeffrey Perez. Perez steps back in from the right side. Denson Hull gets a sign from his catcher, Ryan Haug, with runners on first and second with 1 out. The 38th pitch from Denson Hull upcoming. Swinging a high pop-up foul behind home plate. Overhead. And the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes once again. Cindy Cox says hi. Wes Mumper, as always, joins us on the YouTube chat. And a staple of any Blue Crabs broadcast, a staple of any Atlantic League broadcast, is multi-apples. Count, 3 balls and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the second. Here's the pitch. That runs low and in. Nearly hit Perez, but it's ball 4. And a long and hard-fought at bat from Denson Hull results in a walk that loads the bases for the Revs. And Daryl Thompson's going to come out to have a chat with the starting pitcher, Denson Hull. Well, the rally all started with the 5-hitter in the Revs lineup, Carlos Franco, who went deep to dead center field for a solo home run. That was followed up by a deep fly ball to center from JC Encarnacion that Zach Collier tracked down. Connor Lean walked, Lenin Rodriguez singled, Jeffrey Perez has walked, and it's back to the top of the lineup with the bases loaded and one away. We talk about the hardest hit ball of the day. Carlos Franco's 418-foot home run had an exit velocity off the bat of 104.3. Launch angle at 28 degrees. He blasted that ball. Troy Stokes also hit his ball pretty well. 382 feet to straightaway center field. That one was tracked down by Zach Collier. Well, here is Denson Hall with the bases loaded and one out. Faces Troy Stokes Jr. First pitch, swinging a ground ball foul behind home plate. And the count 0-1. Well, Troy Stokes Jr. went deep to right center for a home run back in the second inning. Or back in the first inning, I should say. He led off the game with a solo shot. Franco hit the home run in the second. Major opportunity for York. Bases loaded and one away. York has a real opportunity to add some insurance runs. 0-1 pitch, low and in. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 2-0 York in the bottom of the second. York scored 1 in the first. They've got 1 so far in the second. Threatening for much more, though, against Denson Hall. 1-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball foul, third base side, towards some metal chairs over by the Blue Crabs bullpen. And the count 1-2. There is some action now in the Southern Maryland bullpen. Cannot tell yet who's throwing based on our angle. Joe DeLuca, who's doing the designated hitting today, is catching for the Blue Crabs out in the bullpen. Southern Maryland yesterday used Eddie Butler, who is not going to pitch in this series, but will pitch against Lancaster on Friday, or at least is scheduled to. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Ooh, looked close, just up and away, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Troy Stokes Jr. Back to Eddie Butler, though. He was doing the catching yesterday. I had a chance to talk to Butler after the game. And I asked him, I said, so why are you doing the catching? And he says, well, he's done it for years. He sort of likes doing it. This one, swinging a line drive, shallow left field. It's a nice catch out in left from Matt Hibbert, who bends down to a knee to make the grab. But tagging from third and scoring is Connor Lean. And it is a 3-0 lead for the York Revolution. They've scored 2 here in the second. Well, now there are 2 away in the bottom of the second inning. 3-0 York. They've gotten to Denson Hall early. And here is Elmer Reyes, still with the runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Perez from first, Rodriguez from second. The pitch swinging a tapper foul. Third base side. Back toward that Blue Crabs bullpen. DeLuca has the ball roll right under his feet. He's talking to Geeky saying, how do you let that one get by me? And Geeky's saying, well, the rest of the bullpen didn't stop it either. Latos, Nick Wells, Bradley Roney, they're all sitting down there on that bench. No one stopped it. Count no balls and 1 strike on Elmer Reyes. Alex Marathu warming up in the Blue Crabs pen. Here is the 0-1, swinging a line drive foul. Similar area. Dalton Geeky, he's on high alert now over there in the Blue Crabs bullpen. He doesn't want anything to get by him. 3-0 York in the bottom of the second. A solo shot to lead things off in the first, a solo shot again in the second. And then a sacrifice fly from Troy Stokes to drive in Connor Lean. 0-2, that's upstairs and outside on Elmer Reyes. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the count 0-2 on Reyes. This will be the 48th pitch of the evening from Denson Hall. This one swing and a high fly ball, shallow left field, a sliding play, and Matt Hibbert comes up with it and makes the catch out in shallow left to end the inning. The York Revolution score 2 in the bottom of the second. They do strand 2 at the end of 2. It's York 3 and Southern Maryland nothing. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, the first pitch here on the top of the third inning to Matt Hibbert is outside for ball 1. 3-0 Revs in the top of the third. 1-0, that's away, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Hibbert did not have a hit yesterday. He did reach on a walk. 0 for 1 in today's game. As Michael Wolanski is on deck. 2-0, that's away. Count 3 balls and no strikes. The Blue Crabs lineup is specifically designed so that they have a pretty even lineup from top to bottom. The batters with the best average sit 5 through 8. As a 3-0 pitch, that's away, and it's ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk issued by Eduardo Rivera. We talked about it earlier that he is prone to walks. He walked 1 batter in the first, he walked 1 in the second, and now 1 here in the third inning. Walked Wolanski back in the first inning. Rivera hasn't paid for it yet, though, as he's held the Blue Crabs to just 1 hit. On the other hand, York has scored 3 runs on 3 hits. First pitch to Michael Wolanski is upstairs for ball 1. I'd have to imagine, after walking Matt Hibbert on 4 pitches, that the Blue Crabs are probably not going to be swinging away after he misses 1-0 on Wolanski yet again. The 1-0, that's low. Count 2-0. 6 consecutive balls thrown by Eduardo Rivera, and the danger here for Rivera is that you're not just trying to lob it over to get one in the zone. After throwing 6 consecutive balls to start the third inning. 2-0. That's a called strike at the knees. He wasn't missing wildly. It was just a couple of pitches that were just outside. Well, 6 pitches that were just a little bit off the zone. 2-1, check swing, but he went around, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Michael Wolanski. Wolanski hitting .200 coming into this game. He played with the Ducks for the first month of the season. 2-2, check swing, they motion down to first base, and the first base umpire, Dave Snyder, says he holds up. Count now 3 balls and 2 strikes on the righty, Michael Wolanski. Hibbert with a short lead off of first base. Important pitch in the top of the third. 3-2, runner goes. That's upstairs for ball 4. Does not matter as he was walked. The third base umpire, Scott Hart, calls him out, but he's going to be eventually ruled safe as it was a walk. So the stolen base is null and void. The caught stealing, really, as the throw was in time to get Hibbert. So there are runners on first and second now with nobody out. What brings Zach Collier to the plate. And they're going to have a meeting at the mound after back-to-back walks issued by Eduardo Rivera. It is the pitching coach for the York Revolution, Anohel Polanco. Oh, I beg your pardon, that's Sandy De Leon. I beg your pardon. It was actually the manager for the York Revolution. That was Mark Mason, who came out to have a chat with his pitcher, Eduardo Rivera. Had a tough time telling who it was, and then after taking a closer look, I said, oh, that is Mark Mason. This one, swinging a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. They're going to send Hibbert around third. He scores without a throw. An RBI single from Zach Collier. And the Blue Crabs cut the deficit to 3-1. They still have runners on the corners with nobody out. So Zach Collier comes through for Southern Maryland. It's his first hit of the series. And the Blue Crabs get to Rivera here in the third. And they're not done yet with 2 on and no out. Well, it all started after Matt Hibbert was walked on 4 pitches. Michael Wolanski walked on 6 pitches. And then an RBI single from Zach Collier that was blasted through the right side. First pitch called strike, belt high at Jared Walker, and the count 0-1. Walker hit the ball well again yesterday, had a couple of doubles. And he's someone, although his average doesn't show it at 237, is a very strong hitter. And he can also hit pretty well for contact. The 0-1 pitch looked pretty darn close, but called the ball by the home plate umpire, Dave Snyder. Might have missed a little bit up and away. But the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Here is the 1-1 offering. Swinging a ground ball foul over toward the Revs dugout. And the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Walker. Southern Maryland 1, York 3. The Revs scored 1 in the first. They added 2 in the second. But the Blue Crabs get 1 back here in the top of the third. Rivera is set. Here is the 1-2 offering. Big wave and a miss on a breaking ball. And there is one away. Rivera was going fastball, 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 and he threw in a changeup. And there is one away. As Alex Crosby will dig in from the left side. Crosby followed by DeLuca in the top of the third. A left-handed hitter digs back in. Here's the first pitch. Big wave and a miss, and a pitch low and out of the zone. Crosby hitting .308. The best batting average on the team, well, that's Ryan Haug, who is at .404. And that's what our trivia question will be related to today. 0-1, swinging a high fly ball, deep right field, down the line. If it's fair, it's gone. That ball is a home run. A 3-run shot down the right field line over the yellow tents on the picnic deck. And it's a 4-3 Blue Crabs lead on a 3-run shot off the bat of Alex Crosby. Crosby was hitting well for average all year long, but that's his first home run, and he makes it count as the Blue Crabs put up a 4 spot here in the top of the third and give the Blue Crabs a 4-3 lead. Just one out in the top of the third inning, and the Blue Crabs have scored 4. Well, after a couple of clean innings from Eduardo Rivera, and this pitch is low and in and gets away from the catcher, Lenin Rodriguez. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. But as I was saying, he had a couple of clean-ish innings in the first and second. He walked Wolanski in the first. He allowed a single and a walk in the second, but got out of him unscathed. And here in the third, the Blue Crabs bats have gotten to him. 1-0 pitch, cut on, shot foul behind home plate. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 4-3, Southern Maryland over York. The Blue Crabs have turned the tables. And the 1-1 pitch, low and in the count 2 balls and 1 strike. There's no doubt it's humid. There's no doubt it's hot. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, Bert Hinman was just saying that this looks familiar. Sorry, Revs fans. The 2-1 pitch, swinging a 1-hopper over toward first. Close play, but the covering Eduardo Rivera beats Braxton Lee by maybe a half a step. As the play seemed routine, but Lee ran that ball out effectively down the first base line. But he is the second out of the inning. And that sends Joe DeLuca to the plate. DeLuca walked his first time up. He nearly homered to right field. So it was maybe 10 feet to the right of that right field foul pole. 2-1 pitch, way inside from Eduardo Rivera. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. It was Rivera and DeLuca who played together down in Panama in the Winter Leagues. So after DeLuca, it will be Ryan Haug. 1-0. Low and in. Count 2-0. Well, there's no doubt control's been an issue for Eduardo Rodriguez, or Rivera, I should say. It was in the scouting report. And Rivera has thrown 55 pitches, 29 strikes, and 27 balls. And ideally, at 56 pitches, you'd like to have 35 strikes and 21 balls. 2-0 pitch, a little bit away in the count, 3-0. So DeLuca walked his first time up, and ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes here against Eduardo Rivera. Rivera's gone 2 2/3 innings. He's thrown 57 pitches. Both pitchers with high pitch counts. 3-0, That's right down the plate. And the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Base path's empty with 2 outs. A 3-run shot earlier in the inning from Alex Crosby cleaned the bases. 3-1, swinging a line drive, shallow right field. It's a base hit from Joe DeLuca. Just a little bit of a flare into right. It was actually a broken bat line drive. And he picks up a single. If you can get that much power on a broken bat hit, it shows the power you've got in your bat, and you got to wonder how far that ball would have gone if the bat hadn't broken. Either way, it's a single for DeLuca. He walked in the first. He singles here in the third. Blue Crabs with 4 runs in already here in the third inning. And the home plate umpire, Scott Hart, calls time. Or I beg your pardon, that's Dave Snyder. Your umpires today, Dave Snyder behind the plate, Scott Hart at first, and Steve Hart over at third. Pitch to Haug. He shows bunt, pulls back, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitcher, Eduardo Rivera, just stands there looking at home plate umpire Dave Snyder with his hands in the air, saying, where did that pitch miss? And honestly, I couldn't tell you either. It might have been a little bit up. It looked like it was middle of the plate, but we'll get an answer with our pitch tracking technology shortly. 1-0 pitch. Big wave and a miss at a breaking ball that might have been a little out of the zone. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Multi-Apples in our YouTube chat, of course, always having a chat with Bert Hinman. 1-1 pitch, low in the dirt. It gets by the catcher, Lenin Rodriguez. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. And that's going to go down as a passed ball against Rodriguez. It was low, maybe in the dirt, but probably one he should have gotten. And Joe DeLuca advances to second on the pass ball. Runner on second and 2 outs. Count 2 balls and 1 strike on Haug. Haug to be followed by Michael Baca if necessary. Eduardo Rivera looks back to Luca at second. Here's the 2-1. Breaking ball called strike on the inside corner. A very tough pitch. And the count 2-2. Just back to that first pitch. Our pitch tracking technology said it was certainly a strike on Ryan Haug, despite the fact he pulled back on the bunt. Was at least 3 inches in the strike zone. But it was called a ball nonetheless. Haug steps out. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the third. The Blue Crabs have scored 4 runs here in the inning and lead this one 4-3. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Breaking ball. There was no doubt about that one. Haug was probably looking fastball there. Give it an off-speed pitch. And that ends the top of the third inning. The Blue Crabs strand 1, but they score 4 at the end of 2.5. It's the Blue Crabs 4 and the Revs 3. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Patrick Baker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the third inning, the Blue Crabs lead this one 4-3 as Melky Mesa leads off for York. The first pitch, a called strike at the belt, and the count 0-1 on Mesa. Denson Hull out for his third inning of work. His pitch count has certainly added up. He just threw the 49th pitch of his outing. Pitch number 50 is cut on and popped up foul first base side, and the count 0-2. And each the first and the second innings, the York Revolution have had leadoff home runs. It was Troy Stokes Jr. in the first and Carlos Franco in the second. Franco in the hole as the 0-2 breaking ball swung on and missed. The streak ends here as Denson Hull earns his second strikeout of the evening on just 3 pitches on Melky Mesa. And that brings up Nelly Rodriguez. As I mentioned, Franco is on deck. He has 3 home runs in his last 3 at-bats dating back to yesterday's game. Hit a home run in the 7th, a home run in the 9th, and a home run in the 2nd. First pitch, ball runs well inside on Rodriguez. The last thing that Hull wants to do is give Franco some base runners. On the 9th inning, it was a 2-run home run from Franco. In the 7th, a 3-run shot. 1-0 pitch, fastball, outside corner for a called strike. And the count 1-1 strike. That last one at 91 for Denson Hull, and that's sort of where he sits. 90, he'll touch 91, maybe 92 here and there on the fastball. 1-1 offering. Called strike. And the count 1-2 strikes. A fastball on the outside corner. And the count 1-2 strikes with 1 away in the bottom of the third inning. Denson Hull looking for a clean inning. 1-2, swing and a miss, struck him out. Back-to-back Ks for Denson Hull, and there are 2 away in the third. Well, the York Revolution took a 3-0 lead across the first 2 innings, but the Blue Crabs bats have since gotten to Eduardo Rivera, including a 3-run home run off the bat of Alex Crosby. Here is Carlos Franco. You want a dangerous power hitter, here he is. First pitch, breaking ball just off the outside corner. And the count 1-0 strikes. Franco hits .287 on the year, but it's his 12 home runs that really stand out. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball a little bit off the plate. And the count 2 strikes on Franco. If you're going to pitch around a hitter, it's not a bad decision to pitch around Carlos Franco. 2-0. That was close. Just a little low and away. And the count 3 strikes. Everything here from Denson Hull has been away to Carlos Franco. Nothing over the middle, nothing out over the plate, and I think that's been the plan after Franco's gone deep 3 times in 3 at-bats. The 3-0 is a called strike right down the middle. And the count now 3 strike. Franco's 12 home runs are second only behind Hawkins on Lexington. Count 3 strike on the lefty. Here's the pitch. Swinging a line drive, left field, down the line, and that ball's going to drop for a base hit. Franco rounds first. He applies the brakes, and now a quick throw back into first base from Michael Baca, picked by Jared Walker. But it is a 2-out single from Carlos Franco, who goes the other way, and he is on an absolute tear right now. His last 4 at-bats, he's got a trio of homers and a single. Well, here comes JC Encarnacion, who hit the second furthest ball hit today. Or probably the third furthest after the home run from Alex Crosby. We'll get you the official numbers on distances. Encarnacion third. This one swinging a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Was actually the second baseman, Michael Wolanski, who slid and fielded it way out on the right field grass. No chance to get JC Encarnacion. So after Denson Hall records a couple of strikeouts, he allows a hit the other way to Carlos Franco and a soft ground ball single to the right side to JC Encarnacion. The 3 furthest hit balls today. Carlos Franco hit a 418-foot shot. Troy Stokes hit one 382 out of the ballpark, and JC Encarnacion at 370 to dead center. First pitch is low for ball 1 on Connor Lean. Well, it's Encarnacion from first, Franco from second. The pitch swinging a line drive foul. The count 1 ball and 1 strike on Connor Lean. 4-3 Blue Crabs. York scored 1 in the first. They added 2 in the second. But it was Southern Maryland who scored 4 runs in the top of the 3rd inning. This one cut on and missed. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch was knee high and Lean swung over it. Lean, one of only a few players you'll see nowadays that does not wear batting gloves. It's definitely a rarity. The former Blue Crab, though, has found some success. He's hitting .296 on the year. 1-2, that's away. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lean digs back in from the right side. Blue Crabs 4, York 3 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2-2 pitch, swinging a line drive, left field, base hit. It's going to score a run. Franco comes around from third. They're going to hold Encarnacion at third. It's an RBI double from Connor Lean, and the Revs have tied the score at 4 in the bottom of the 3rd. Oh, it's a nice piece of hitting down that left field line. Matt Hibbert slid to stop the ball, but the Revs have scored a run, and they have tied the score at 4. Well, here comes Lenin Rodriguez. He's 1 for 1. He singled back in the second. First pitch, swinging a high pop-up in foul territory down the first base side, and the count 0-1. Here in the 3rd inning from Denson Hall. He retired the first 2 batters via a strikeout. Was Melky Mesa and Nelly Rodriguez. Allowed a single to Carlos Franco, a soft single to the right side to JC Encarnacion, and an RBI double to Connor Lean. The 0-1, a big wave and a miss, and the count 0-2. Bottom of the 3rd inning, the York Revs have tied the score at 4-4. Hull ahead in the count 0-2. Would not be surprised to see him go out of the zone here and try to induce a swing and a miss. 0-2 pitch. Does just that. It's low in the dirt. Does not get a swing from Rodriguez. And the count 1-2. So the Revs have tied it here in the 3rd. A run on an RBI double off the bat of Connor Lean. He leads off second. It's JC Encarnacion who is held up at 3rd base. In hindsight, he probably could have scored, but they're playing it safe right now. 1-2 pitch, swing and a foul ball off of his left cleat. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think at the time when the third base coach, Enohel Polanco, held up JC Encarnacion, it was with good reason. So you don't want to run yourself into an out for the final out of an inning, especially when you have 2 guys in scoring position. 1-2, swinging a little tapper back to the mound. Hull falls down. He throws to first. It's still in time to get Lenin Rodriguez. Hull fielded it down the third base line on a soft ground ball. He picked it up with the glove. He slipped on the grass, but still got up in time to throw out Lenin Rodriguez for the final out. Well, that saves a run at the end of 3 innings of play. It's the Blue Crabs 4 and the Revs 4. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
When you need a win on the road, don't get left stranded. Make AAA part of your roster and you'll always have someone on deck ready to get you home. AAA also offers car care, insurance, and travel services and has stores conveniently located for Blue Crabs fans in Brandywine, Crofton, and Alexandria. Don't forget to ask them about membership discounts for military and first responders. Please visit AAA.com to learn more or to find a AAA location near you.
Top of the 4th inning, 4-4 ball game. The first pitch from Eduardo Rivera is away for ball 1. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. On Michael Baca, the 9-hitter. 1-0, that's upstairs. Let's go through how he got here in the top of the 4th. It was York who scored the opening run of the game on a solo shot from Troy Stokes Jr. In the 2nd inning, a solo home run from Carlos Franco to lead things off. As the 2-0 pitch is low, the count 3 balls and no strikes on Baca. And York actually added another run on a sacrifice fly that scored Connor Lean. 3-0, called strike, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Well, the Blue Crabs responded with 4 runs in the top of the 3rd, including a 3-run shot from Alex Crosby. 3-1, swinging a ground ball, fielded on the backhand by the shortstop Reyes. He fires across the diamond to first for the out. Elmer Reyes took a somewhat lackadaisical approach, was not seemingly in any rush to get over to that ball. Baca ran it out well, and the throw beat him by a step. It was a good throw from Reyes. And there is 1 away. Top of the 4th, the Blue Crabs took that 4-3 lead in the top of the 4th, or the top of the 3rd, I should say. But it was York who responded with a run of their own in the 3rd inning on an RBI double from Connor Lean. First pitch to Matt Hibbert is inside. The count 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0, cut on, popped up, foul behind home plate, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Rivera has now thrown 70 pitches, includes 36 strikes and 34 balls. Here's the 1-1. Swinging, that's a called strike. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the real issue has been that the consecutive balls have come in stretches. So he's walked 4 batters in this game. The 1-2 swung on and tapped foul off that shin guard on the left foot. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Rivera struck out 5, but the 4 walks in just 3 1/3 is a lot, and it's due to consecutive balls. 1-2 pitches. That swung on and missed. Struck him out. Hibbert goes down on strikes, and there are 2 away. Well, let's get to our trivia question now. So our trivia question today has to do with, as I mentioned earlier, Ryan Haug's strong start at the plate. So Ryan Haug's hitting on the year .396. So the question is, what is the highest batting average in Major League Baseball history? Yesterday we had the most pitches thrown in one start by a pitcher. And this time around we have the highest batting average in a season. The first pitch, a called strike on Wolanski. Now here's the 0-1. Breaking ball, cut on and missed. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. When Rivera is ahead on batters and he's inducing swings and misses with his breaking stuff, that's when he's his best. As the 0-2 is swung on and fouled back to the netting, count remains 0-2. When he falls behind in the count, he throws pitches out over the plate. That's when he runs into trouble, and we've seen that already today. He's walked 4 batters through 3 2/3, but he struck out 6. Here's the pitch, low in the dirt. It gets by the catcher, Lenin Rodriguez. So again, today's trivia question, what is the highest batting average in Major League Baseball history? If we get that one pretty quickly, we're going to run into a second batting average related trivia question. So both name who did it and what year it was in and what the batting average was. 1-2, swinging a ground ball over towards short, fielded on the backhand by the shortstop Reyes, and tossing to first for the final out. It's a 1-2-3 inning from Eduardo Rivera after a tough third. At the end of 3 1/2, it's Southern Maryland 4 and York 4. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
When you need a win on the road, don't get left stranded. Make AAA part of your roster and you'll always have someone on deck ready to get you home. AAA also offers car care, insurance, and travel services, and has stores conveniently located for Blue Crabs fans in Brandywine, Crofton, and Alexandria. Don't forget to ask them about membership discounts for military and first responders. Please visit AAA.com to learn more or to find a AAA location near you.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, we are back in the bottom of the fourth inning as Jeffrey Perez, the 9-hitter, digs in for York in a 4-4 ball game. First pitch called strike as Jeffrey Perez missed the bunt, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. Well, the Blue Crabs scored 4 in the third. That's all the scoring they've done. 3 runs came courtesy of a 3-run shot from Alex Crosby. 0-1 pitch, that's a little bit low. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike on Jeffrey Perez. Again, we have a trivia question today. Today's trivia question. As this one swung on and grounded over toward third base. Field on the backhand by Crosby, tossing to first, and there is 1 away. Nicely done by Alex Crosby, fielding that one on the backhand. It was hard hit. It was a high chopper, and Perez has speed. He had to throw him out over at first, so there is 1 away now in the bottom of the fourth inning. Back to that trivia question. The question is, who has the highest batting average in a single season in Major League Baseball history? What year was it, and what was the batting average? We're going to answer the question in the 6th if no one gets an answer prior to that. We have Kaylee, who has jumped in and says 426 by Nap LaJoy in 1901. First pitch called strike from Denson Hull. Well, it's good to hear from Kaylee. We haven't heard all that much from Kaylee on our chat. 0-1, swung on and fouled back, and the count 0-2. One away, count, no balls and 2 strikes on Troy Stokes Jr. 0-2, swinging a ground ball over towards short, fielded on the forehand by Baca. He bobbles, tosses to first, and it's in time. Oh, wow, a really close play over at first base. And I think the first base umpire, Scott Hart, made the right call there. It was really, really close. Baca did well to recover after bobbling it initially. And he throws out Troy Stokes Jr. So 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom of the fourth. If Denson Hull can keep York off the scoreboard here in the fourth and get a 1-2-3, and that would go a long way for his pitch count. This one swung on and popped up first base side, and it's Walker who ranges over in front of the York bullpen where he makes the catch for the final out. Well, the York Revolution are retired in order. It's 3 up and 3 down for Denson Hull. At the end of 4, it's the Blue Crabs 4 and the Revs 4. We're going to have a new trivia question coming up for you in the top of the 5th. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by, and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs!
Top of the 5th inning. It's Zach Collier to lead things off in a 4-4 ball game. Shows bunt, he pulls back in the count, 1 ball and no strikes on the lefty. Well, Zach Collier lined a base hit into right field and drove in a run. This one swung on, driven high in the air, deep right field. That sends Stokes back to the warning track at the wall where he makes the catch in front of the H.B. McClure sign in right field. Wow, did Collier ever give that ball a ride? Off the bat, it looked like it might get out of here. But Stokes tracks it down on the warning track, and there is one away. That brings Jared Walker to the plate. On a hot and somewhat humid night as well in York, Pennsylvania. First pitch upstairs, count 1 ball and no strikes. With 1 away in the top of the 5th. Blue Crabs 4 and York 4. 1-0 pitch, swinging a chopper foul off the bat of Jared Walker, the lefty, in the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Alex Crosby stands on deck. We've got a different trivia question. I was going to go with something batting average related, but the 1-1 pitch is inside, count 2 balls and 1 strike. But it jogged my memory of another slightly different question regarding the World Series. Here is the 2-1 pitch. Swinging a high pop-up into shallow right field. The right fielder Stokes comes in and he makes the catch for the second out. 2 up and 2 down here on the top of the 5th. So our second question, the reason it reminded me of this was Kaylee answered correctly that Nap LaJoy does have the best batting average in a single season in Major League Baseball history. It happened in 1901 when he had a .426 batting average. Now, Nap LaJoy in 1901 had that batting average prior to the start of World Series. Now here's the pitch. It's a called strike. And the count 0-1 on Crosby. Now there have been 4 World Series that have had a different format than the traditional 7-game World Series. 0-1, swinging a high chopper over towards second, fielded by Jeffrey Perez. He tosses to first, and that'll do it. We're going to have our World Series trivia question for you when we come back in the bottom of the 5th. Stick with us in the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. It's another 1-2-3 inning from Eduardo Rivera, I should say. And at the end of 4.5, it's a 4-4 ball game.
This is Coach Doug's, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
American Radiology is the clear choice for all of your medical imaging needs. With locations in Charles and Calvert counties, they offer a full range of imaging services. Some of their latest innovations included 3D mammography and wide-open MRIs for our claustrophobic patients. For your convenience, they even offer extended weekday hours and Saturdays. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website at AmericanRadiology.com.
Well, we bring you back in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Blue Crabs and the Revolution even at 4. First pitch to Melky Mesa, swinging a ground ball foul, third base side. And the count, no balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter, Melky Mesa. Denson Hull back out for his 5th inning of work. Hull has thrown 79 pitches. You'd have to think that he can pitch a clean 5th. He might have a chance at starting the 6th. 0-1 is swung on in a foul tip. Count 0-2. It really depends on what his pitch count is. And so far this season has not gone more than 27 batters in a game. 0-2. Swinging a line drive, deflects off of Hull's glove. Going to be a tough play. Krause fields at third. A one-hopper over to first. Walker can't handle it, and it's a base hit from Melky Mesa, who ran that ball out down the first base line. Made it a very difficult play as Denson Hull had to deflect off of his glove over toward the hole between shortstop and third. And there's a runner on first base to get things started in the 5th inning. It was going to be a base hit right up the middle from Melky Mesa. Well, Denson Hull's been going to the rosin bag quite a bit. And it makes sense. It's a very humid evening. Hot weather. As Mesa stands on first base. Brings up Nelly Rodriguez, who's 0 for 2 today. Here's the pitch. That's a little bit low on the count. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, it's Mesa from first. With nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning, a 4-4 ball game. As the Revs look to take advantage here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the pitch. 1-0 is low and in, and the count 2-0. Well, the Blue Crabs bats came alive for 1 inning. It was in the 3rd. Since then, York starter Eduardo Rivera has really settled down. A pair of 1-2-3 innings in both the 4th and the 5th. 2-0 pitch, swinging a line drive through the left side. It's a base hit. And Rodriguez follows Melky Mesa with back-to-back singles to get things started in the bottom of the 5th inning. And for the Blue Crabs, they had Alex Marathieu warming up earlier in this game. Wouldn't be stunned to see him get warming yet again. Joe DeLuca, the Blue Crabs' designated hitter, who also does some catching. He's over in the bullpen doing catching today. No one warming up yet. Again, Marathieu was up. He's since sat down. This one, low and away into the dirt for ball 1. Haug blocks it. And the count 1 ball and no strikes with nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Carlos Franco, who hits .292 on the season, but more importantly, has 12 home runs, digs back in. Franco had 3 hits yesterday, including 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. He started today's game with a solo shot and picked up a single as well. The 1-0 pitch, a breaking ball from Hull, and Franco well out ahead of it. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, it's Mesa from second. It's Rodriguez from first. Hull reaches down to the ground, rubs some dirt on his hand. The left-handed pitcher had trouble in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd before a 1-2-3 4th. But he's got runners on 1st and 2nd here in the 5th with nobody out. And not to mention the most dangerous York hitter at the plate. 1-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball. Haug was trying the transfer between his glove and his throwing hand. Was going to try a pickoff move at second base on Melky Mesa. but he did not end up throwing as he did not have a clean transfer between the glove and the throwing hand. Franco steps back in. It's Mesa from second, Rodriguez from first after a pair of singles to get things started. 1-2 to Franco. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Big strikeout for Denson Hall. Strikes out who's probably the most dangerous hitter in the York lineup with 4 consecutive hits, including 3 home runs coming into that at bat. So there's one away for JC Encarnacion, who hits .303 on the year. He's 1 for 2 today. Singled in the third, flied out back in the second. Blue Crabs defense at double play depth. First pitch, off speed pitch, swung on and missed from Encarnacion, and the count 0-1. Eduardo Rivera has been throwing very hard throughout the entire evening. Hull has thrown a high of 90.7 miles an hour as the 0-1 pitch, I should say, runs low and in, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike on a curveball. Eduardo Rivera has averaged 92 on the fastball, peaked at 95.8. Count 1 ball and 1 strike now on JC Encarnacion, who bats from the right side. With 2 on and 1 out. 4-4 ball game in the bottom of the 5th. York led it 3-0. The Blue Crabs took a 4-3 lead, and since the Revs responded. 1-1, swinging a high pop-up, foul territory. Walker's got a beat on it near the tarp on the right field side. He makes the catch for the second out. Melky Mesa fakes a tag and sticks back at second base. And so there are runners on first and second now with 2 outs. And here comes Connor Lean. So I told you I'd get you back to that trivia question in the bottom of the 5th. And I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain. The trivia question is, there have been 4 seasons when the World Series format has differed from a 7-game series. Name the 4 seasons and name what the difference was in the World Series format. First pitch called strike on Connor Lean. So it's a 2-part question. Which 4 seasons was the format other than a 7-game series? And what was the formatting change? The reason I selected that question was that Kaylee accurately answered that Nat LaJoy hit .426 back in 1901 as Connor Lean swings and misses at a high fastball, and the count 0-2. That LaJoy hit .426 in 1901, and the World Series wasn't even started when Nat LaJoy hit .426. So the question then becomes, what 4 seasons was the World Series of a different format? And what was the format? 0-2, breaking ball swung on and missed. Lean goes down on strikes on a curveball low and in. We'll give you the answer in the bottom of the 6th to get a bit of a hint in the top of the 6th inning. Send your answers to the YouTube chat. We're finished with 5 innings of play. Denson Hall recovers after allowing a couple of base runners. It's still 4-4 at the end of 5. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Chick-fil-A of Charles County has been a proud supporter of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since their inception in 2008. For years, they have sponsored the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, America's prisoners of war and missing in action. In between the second inning of each game, there is a moment of silence brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs appreciate and respect not only Chick-fil-A, but all of those that have served our great country. The seat that they sponsor was made possible by Chick-fil-A of Charles County. Thank you so much, and visit any of your Charles County Chick-fil-A locations today.
Well, we're back in the top of the 6th inning. First pitch on Braxton Lee is low and in for ball 1. Well, the Blue Crabs and the York Revolution are even at 4 in the top of the 6th. 1-0 pitch, fastball upstairs, swung on and missed, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. We're happy to have you with us in the top of the 6th inning. And what is a tie game? We haven't seen any runs scored in the last couple of innings. 1-1 is swung on and missed, count 1-2. In the first inning, York struck first on a solo shot from Troy Stokes. 1-2 swung on and lined foul behind home plate. In the second, it was Carlos Franco who hit a solo homer to dead center field. And they picked up another run later in the inning, led 3-0. The Blue Crabs responded with 4 runs in the inning. This one, swinging a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. Braxton Lee extends his hit streak as the Blue Crabs have a runner on first base to start the inning. Lee now has hits in 5 consecutive games with the single to center. And here comes Joe DeLuca. Over at first base, Braxton Lee has a new season high for his batting average, as that's all the way up to 299. First pitch called strike on DeLuca as Rivera goes to the breaking ball at just 74 miles an hour. Count 0-1. And DeLuca digs back in. 1 for 1 on the day. He also walked back in the second, had a broken bat, line drive to right in the third. This breaking ball runs away from Rivera. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Or 1 ball and 1 strike, I should say. 4-4 ball game in the top of the 6th. Runner on first base and nobody out. The righty Rivera set against the switch hitter DeLuca. Pitch on the outside corner. It was a close call. Not sure DeLuca was very happy with the called strike. Either way, the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on the switch hitting catcher who is in the DH spot today. He's caught a couple games with the Blue Crabs, and I'd imagine he's going to get a little more action at that catcher spot after Austin Rye traded. 1-2, swung on and popped up. The runner was going on the pitch, but he's going to get into the seats and out of play. Well, Braxton Lee singled to start the inning. He stands on first. DeLuca behind in the count 1-2. He worked a walk and singled in his first 2 plate appearances. 3 home runs on the year, an OPS of 1085. Rodriguez sets up low. And now he tosses over to first to check on Lee, who dives back in safely. Count remains 1-2 here in the top of the 6th. Again, our trivia question, our second trivia question I should say. What 4 years was the World Series format different? 1-2. Pitch out, that's upstairs. And the count 2-2. So which 4 years was the Major League Baseball format different? And what was that format? So go ahead and leave your answers in the YouTube chat. There is some action in both bullpens now. For the Blue Crabs, it's Dalton Geekie warming up. Count 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, straightaway center field. It sends the center fielder, Connor Lean, back into the warning track. And there are 2 away in the top of the 6th inning. Or 1 away, I should say, as Lean makes the catch. Very well hit line drive from Joe DeLuca. Got really all of that ball, but was right at the center fielder, Connor Lean. Well, here comes the catcher for the Blue Crabs, Ryan Haug, who hits .396, has 1 homer and 16 RBIs. Came in hitting .392, and is 1 for 2 in today's contest. And a pitch, that one's outside. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. Braxton Lee from first with Haug at the plate, and 1 out. Here's the 1-0 delivery. That one's low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Oh, no. Big gone down. There's the pitch. This one swung on and tapped foul. Apologize, we're dealing with some technical difficulties with our connection, so we try to get this all sorted out. Well, there are 2 balls and 2 strikes here in the 6th. DeLuca, I beg your pardon, it's Haug, digs in from the right side. Here's the 2-2 pitch, swinging a foul ball, first base side. Runner on first base and 1 out. We apologize for those issues there with the technical difficulties, and we've got another answer. It comes from Kaylee, who's got 3 of the 4 years correct. Well, technically 4 of 5. I was not referring to the 1994 season. The 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. Haug goes down on strikes, and there are 2 away. We apologize. The scoreboard's going to be a little behind for a while. Kaylee's got 4 of, I guess, 5 years. The strike, there was no World Series, so I'm not sure I even count that as a different format. She's got the 1919, 1920, and 1921. Those were all best of 9. And she's missing 1 year here. Let's see if anyone else can help her out. Maybe Wes Mumper has the answer. Maybe it's Bert Hinman. Anyone else know the reason that one of the series was a different setup as opposed, or a different format as opposed to the traditional best of 7 format? 0-1 pitch to Baca. Wave and a miss. Meanwhile, it's Braxton Lee who takes off for second and slides in very easily. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. It is the top of the 6th inning for Southern Maryland, with the Blue Crabs 4 and the York Revolution 4. Braxton Lee stands on second base. Baca faced with an 0-2 count. The pitch, swinging a foul tip on a 92-mile-per-hour fastball from Rivera, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Over on second base, Braxton Lee is the go-ahead run. We've got a slight pause as the ball comes in from the bullpen down the left field line. We should have our scoreboard back up and running for you now in a 4-4 game in the top of the 6th. The 0-2 pitch from Rivera, swinging a high pop-up to right field. The right fielder, Troy Stokes Jr., over toward the right field line where he makes the catch for the final out. Well, the Blue Crabs threatened. They had a leadoff single At the end of 5.5, the Blue Crabs are still even with York at 4. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, it's Denson Hull who returns here in the 6th inning. This will be his 95th pitch as he faces off against Nelly Rodriguez to start the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-4 ball game. A lefty on righty matchup. Dalton Geeky is warming up for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. And for the York Revolution, it's Robinson Parra. First pitch is low for ball 1 in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on the leadoff hitter, Nelly Rodriguez. Well, I beg your pardon. It's Lenine Rodriguez to the plate. There is Nelly. Nelly bats 4th, but Lenine bats 8th, and that's who's at the plate right now. 1-0, that's a called strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Lenine Rodriguez does the catching. The 8-9-1. Rodriguez, Perez, and Stokes. Lenine Rodriguez 1 for 2 today, as the 1-1 pitch is low, and the count 2 balls and a strike. This is the 97th pitch thrown from Denson Hull. He falls behind in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Base path's empty and nobody out, as Lenine Rodriguez leads things off in the bottom of the 6th. 2-1, called strike, count 2-2. You have to wonder how long the leash is on Denson Hull. Manager Stan Cliburn is not someone who is very quick to take out a starting pitcher. This one swinging a ground ball over towards short, a high chopper. Baca throws the high throw. He tags the runner, Lenine Rodriguez, and he's out. Oh, wow, so Jared Walker leaps to grab that high throw and then brings it down and swipe tags Lenine Rodriguez for the first out. So there is 1 away now in the bottom of the 6th inning. As Jeffrey Perez, the 9-hitter, digs in. Well, Denson Hull has allowed 4 earned runs through 5 1/3 today. And what's his 8th appearance of the season? He threw a season-high 104 against Charleston. The first pitch swinging high fly ball, deep left center field. Perez back to the warning track at the wall. It is gone. A solo home run from Jeffrey Perez to deep left center, and it's a 5-4 game as York has taken the lead in the 6th. A very well hit ball from Jeffrey Perez, and it looks like that'll do it from Denson Hall, who goes 5 1/3 innings of work. He threw exactly 100 pitches. It was on the 100th pitch of the night that Jeffrey Perez went deep to left center to give the York Revolution a 5-4 lead. Well, that'll do it from Denson Hall. As Dalton Geeky comes in from the bullpen, we'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have all the details on Dalton Geeky, who enters the game for Southern Maryland. Stick with us.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by, and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs!
We bring you back in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's now a 5-4 Revs lead. New pitcher, it's Dalton Geeky on the mound. As first pitch breaking ball looked pretty good, but called the ball by the home plate umpire Dave Snyder in the count 1-0. Well, Dalton Geeky comes in with a 4.26 ERA. He'd been pitching really well recently as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed, count 1-1. Prior to the appearance against Charleston, West Virginia, where he allowed 3 hits and 2 runs via a 2-run home run. That was back on Friday. Pitch, swing and a miss, as Troy Stokes was well out ahead of a breaking ball low and away in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the righty. Base paths are empty with 1 out. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball low in the dirt. And the count remains 2-2. Beg your pardon, that was actually a fastball low in the dirt. Well, York scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the 6th. Meanwhile, it was a 4-run third for the Blue Crabs, where they've done all their damage. 2-2, wave and a miss at a pitch low and away, and there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. And here comes Elmer Reyes. With base paths empty and 2 away. And here comes Elmer Reyes, who hits .322 on the year. First pitch breaking ball, a little bit low in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Reyes waves his bat in a circular motion. Geeky set. 1-0 pitch. Swinging a line drive foul, first base side. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Elmer Reyes restraps his batting gloves and digs back in. 5-4 York over Southern Maryland. Here's the pitch, swinging a high fly ball, deep left center field, back to the warning track at the wall. It one hops the wall. Collier over to field it quickly in center. Hits the cutoff man, Michael Baca, but no one covering over at second base. And it is a 2-out double from Elmer Reyes. And there's a runner on second base with 2 away and a 5-4 York lead. Hit that ball deep to left center off the Community Progress sign. And that brings Melky Mesa to the plate, who is 1 for 3. He singled his last time up in the 5th inning. Well, late in this ball game here in the bottom of the 6th inning, it's the York Revolution who've come through with a run in the 6th. First pitch to Mesa is cut on and fouled back, and the count 0-1. Geeky throws hard. Most recent pitch at 95 miles an hour. Eduardo Rivera threw as high as 95.8 in this ball game. 0-1. Swinging a ground ball foul. Third base side. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Mesa to step back in. He has Elmer Reyes leading off of second base. Count, no balls and 2 strikes. Wouldn't be surprised to see Geeky either go high and away with a fastball or low in the dirt with a breaking ball, trying to send Mesa away. This one swinging a slow ground ball to third. Going to be a tough play. Crosby bare hands it. He can't hold on to it. Tried to go with the bare hand. It was going to be a tough play, especially with the sticky conditions and the humidity. And he couldn't field it cleanly with the bare hand. It's an infield single from Melky Mesa. So runners on the corners now with 2 outs. And York already has scored 1 run. That run charged to Denson Hall, who finishes his night with 5 1/3 innings, 9 hits, and 5 earned runs. First pitch, fastball on the outside corner, and the count 0-1. Was largely part of the problem for Hull was falling behind in innings. He'd allow the leadoff runner on frequently enough so that he'd sort of set himself up behind the 8 ball. Count, no balls and 1 strike on Rodriguez. This one cut on and fouled back on a 79-mile-an-hour breaking ball. And when Hull can contrast 94 with 79, can really set a batter off balance. It's a count, no balls and 2 strikes on Nelly Rodriguez. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. Pitch from Geeky. Swing and a miss, struck him out. He strikes out Nelly Rodriguez in a critical spot with runners on the corners and 2 outs, and that will end the 6th. The York Revolution score 1, but they strand 2 at the end of 6 innings of play. It's York 5 and Southern Maryland 4. Stick with us. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Top of the 7th inning, Robinson Parra in the game. First pitch runs upstairs and inside on Matt Hibbert in the top of the 7th inning as the York Revolution lead this one 5-4. 1-0 pitch, swinging a slow roller over to second. Easily fielded by Perez. He tosses to first in time for the first out. So a quick 1 pitch and a 1 out. As Michael Walensky, I should say, stands in from the right side. Walensky playing in his first game with the Blue Crabs. He is 0 for 1, but he's walked twice. First pitch low and away to the right-handed hitter. It gets away from the catcher, Lenin Rodriguez. Lenin Rodriguez behind the plate. Nelly Rodriguez at first base. They use all the same letters in their first names. Nelly and Lenin. It's Lenin for Lenin. 1-0 pitch, swung on and fouled off. First base side. So there are 4 letters, L-E-N and I. And Nelly and in Lenin. And both are Rodriguez. 1-1 pitch, that's low, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike on Walensky. We're going to get to the answer of our trivia question in just one moment. And Kaylee has come through again. This one is swinging a slow ground ball back to the mound. It's fielded by Parra. He tosses to first, and there are 2 away. Kaylee is exactly right. 1903 was also a best-of-9 series. Well, Kaylee, we enjoy having you on the group chat. We haven't always seen you, or on the YouTube chat. We haven't always seen you on the YouTube chat, so please always comment. If you'd like a shout-out or answer our trivia questions, we appreciate it. Wes Mumper, always on the trivia, always on the chat, as Matt Nemec, frequently here. Cindy Cox, and of course, Multi-Apples, who always swings around to these games. First pitch is low and away to Zach Collier. Count 1-0. Now the 1-0 is swung on and lifted high in the air, foul, third base side. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike now. So we'll give you the full answer to that trivia question after this pitch. 1-1. Called strike on the outside corner, count 1-2. So the question was, there have been 4 World Series that have had different formats. What was the difference in format? And what years was the difference? The answer is 1903, 1919, 1920, 1921 are all 9-game series. The 0-2 is swung on and missed from Collier. He goes down swinging. We're finished with 6.5. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. The Blue Crabs will need some work to do in the top of the 8th and top of the 9th. But first, it's the Revs coming to bat in the bottom of the 7th. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, we're back in the bottom of the 7th inning. 5-4 York as Carlos Franco steps in against Dalton Geekie. First pitch fastball inside in the count 1-0. We've seen Dalton Geekie throw as high as 95, even 96 before, but that last fastball clocked in at just 90. 1-0 pitch, a breaking ball, keeps Franco off balance in the count 1-1 strike. Carlos Franco had a terrific game yesterday with 2 home runs. And from yesterday into today, he had 3 consecutive home runs on 3 at-bats. As a fastball runs way low and in on Franco that sends him jumping out of the way. And the count 2-1 strike. Yeah, a very hard fastball at 94. And it ran low and in on Carlos Franco and forced him to jump out of the way. Franco had 4 hits in 4 at-bats spanning from yesterday into today, with 3 consecutive home runs mixed in there. 2-1 pitch, swinging a foul ball to the screen behind home plate, and the count 2-2. So after a couple of pitches to force Franco off the plate, Dalton Geekie throws a couple of strikes. Base paths empty as Franco leads things off. York 5, Southern Maryland 4. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high chopper over to second. Easily fielded by Wolanski. Soft toss over to first for Franco, who does not run particularly well, and there is one away. Bottom of the 7th inning, 1 out as Geekie retires Franco. Geekie's now thrown an inning, got the last 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, and picks up the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. Encarnacion, first pitch, fastball away, and the count 1-0 strikes. One 0 to Encarnacion, breaking ball, called strike, count 1-1. Base paths empty for Encarnacion, who is 1 for 3. One of those outs, though, was hit more than 370 feet to straightaway center. 1-1, cut on a foul tip. And the count 1-2 strikes now on Encarnacion. Encarnacion hitting .299. 1 home run and 7 RBIs. 5-4 York. They took the lead in the bottom of the 6th. 1-2, swing and a miss, struck him out. Geekie went low and away and induces a swing, and there are 2 away in the bottom of the 7th. That brings up Connor Lean. Back in the 6th, it was a solo shot from Jeffrey Perez. It was at that point when Denson Hull was taken out of the game. Geekie allowed a couple of hits in the 6th inning, but ended up getting out of the inning unscathed. Here's the first pitch to Connor Lean. It's low and away in the count 1-0 strikes. Lean hitting .301 on the year. Had a big series against Lexington with the Blue Crabs in the opening series, but was moved over to York afterward. 1-0 pitch. Called strike in the count 1-1. Blue Crabs coming to this one 26-9. They've won 3 straight games. If they're going to win their 4th, they're going to need to come back in this one. 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off first base side in the count 1-2. Well, Southern Maryland won the first 9 series of the season. Lost 2 out of 3 versus Long Island and split with Charleston. 1-2, swinging a high fly ball. Deep right field. Braxton Lee back to the warning track in front of the wall where he makes the catch with the final out. Oh, a very well hit ball off the bat of Connor Lean, but Braxton Lee shows off his speed and the leather as he tracks it down in front of the wall for the final out. Well, the York Revolution go down in order 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. They still lead at 5-4 as the Blue Crabs come to the plate in the top of the 8th.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Whether it's Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Aaron Rodgers, or even the son of a former Blue Crab, Patrick Mahomes, you've seen many athletes endorsing State Farm. That's because your State Farm agent has your back through good times and not so good times. That's why all the Blue Crabs, Daryl Thompson, and the whole team trust State Farm with their insurance needs. State Farm is the company people have trusted for over 99 years to help life go right. Call your local State Farm agent, Greg Conklin, today at 240-776-4289.
Well, back in the top of the 8th inning, as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs trail 5-4, they send 4, 5, and 6 to the plate. It's Jared Walker, who will be followed by Alex Crosby and Braxton Lee. Well, the York Revolution took the lead in the bottom of the 6th inning with an opposite field solo home run from Jeffrey Perez. First pitch called strike on Walker. Fastball on the outside corner from a new pitcher. It's Josh Martin who enters the game. Has a 5.65 ERA. Martin has played as high as AAA. 0-1 offering. Swinging a ground ball right side through the hole past the outstretched reach of Jeffrey Perez between first base and second base. And it's a single from Jared Walker. And there's a runner on first base to lead things off in the top of the 8th. The Blue Crabs trailing by 1. But Jared Walker represents the tying run. Here comes Braxton Lee, who digs in from the left side. Blue Crabs look to get something going here in the 8th. Perez set against Braxton Lee. Pitch, swinging a line drive, left field deep, back, and it's one-hopping the wall. The throw comes into second base, and it's not in time. It's a double as Walker goes first to third, and Braxton Lee has a double, and the Blue Crabs have runners on second and third with nobody out. It was just past the outstretched reach of Melky Mesa, who went back on that ball in front of the Window World sign just to the right of the Nemesis wall in left field. And the Blue Crabs have 2 in scoring position with nobody out. Well, that was Alex Crosby's double. I beg your pardon. Braxton Lee steps in now. Runners on second and third and nobody out. 5-4 York. First pitch, up and away for ball 1. So Crosby from second, it's Walker from third. For Crosby, it's his second hit of the day. First pitch to Lee was away. Count 1 ball and no strikes on the lefty. 1-0 pitch, swinging a ground ball, right side foul. And the count remains 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Southern Maryland has scored runs in just 1 inning. It came back in the third when the Blue Crabs put up 4 runs. Came on a 3-run shot off of Alex Crosby's bat. Now he's on second with a double. 1-1 pitch to Lee. Called strike on the inside corner, and the count 1-2. Alex Crosby 2 for 4 today with 3 RBIs and a run scored. He's been the most productive bat for Southern Maryland thus far. Joe DeLuca's on deck with an opportunity to give the Blue Crabs the lead. See if Braxton Lee can drive anyone in. The 1-2 swung on and missed. Struck him out on a high fastball. And there is 1 away now in the top of the 8th. It comes down to Joe DeLuca with 1 away. Ryan Haug on deck for the Blue Crabs. DeLuca 1 for 2 today. Had a broken bat line drive single to right field. Infield remains in for the Revs. From third base, it's Jared Walker. From second, Alex Crosby. And here comes Joe DeLuca with 1 out in the top of the 8th. Josh Martin set. Here's the pitch. Called strike on a breaking ball. And the count 0-1. Pitch looked a little bit low and away, but called a strike by the home plate umpire, Dave Snyder. Infield is somewhat in for the Revs. Over at shortstop, Elmer Reyes. It's about 5 feet back from the infield grass. Over at second, Jeffrey Perez in this very similar spot. Carlos Franco probably in the most over at third base as his feet are on the grass. 0-1, big wave and a miss. At a breaking ball low and out of the zone. And the count 0-2. Well, now an 0-2 count. Josh Martin allowed a leadoff single to Jared Walker. Then a double to Alex Crosby. Put runners on second and third with nobody out. And here is Joe DeLuca now. After a strikeout of Braxton Lee, it's Martin ahead in the count 0-2. DeLuca takes a few practice swings. Martin set. Here's the 0-2. Came way up and in. Forced DeLuca off the plate. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 5-4 York. They hit the go-ahead home run in the 6th. It came off the bat of the second baseman, Jeffrey Perez, who had a good game yesterday where he picked up a couple of hits and picks up a very important hit here in the 6th on a home run to left center field. Well, the Blue Crabs now trail 5-4 in the top of the 8th. They've got about as good of a situation as you're going to get. Second and third and 1 out. The 1-2 pitch is low and away, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes now on DeLuca. Blue Crabs come into this one 26-9. They've got a 3-game winning streak on the line. Meanwhile, in the Blue Crabs bullpen, it's Andres Brasenia warming up. DeLuca digs back in. Martin set. Here's the 2-2. Low and in. As the pitch was in the dirt, in the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Josh Martin was ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. But DeLuca's remained patient. He's worked the count back to 3-2. Martin set. He gets a sign from Lenin Rodriguez, who sets up a little bit low and in. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul ball back behind home plate to the netting, and the count remains full at 3-2. Well, let's run back through this inning. It's 5-4 York. A leadoff single from Jared Walker on a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Followed it up with a double from Alex Crosby to put runners on second and third. Martin then struck out Lee. He's got a full count on Joe DeLuca. Three-two pitch. Swinging a line drive foul, right field side. Would have been extra bases and given the Blue Crabs the lead, but he was a little out ahead of the pitch. And the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes still. Well, the Blue Crabs won last night 10-9 in a 1-run game. They trail by 1 this time in the top of the 8th. Well, the Blue Crabs ran through a bit of a tough spell just over a week ago. Now back on the right track. The 3-2 pitch runs way inside on DeLuca, and it's ball 4. And Josh Martin issues a walk, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. Well, Martin was ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. And now it's Ryan Haug to dig in. Infield defensive alignment changes. Middle infield is back at double play depth. It's Nelly Rodriguez who's still in at first base, and over at third base, Carlos Franco the same. Force at every base. It's 5-4 York, and Ryan Haug digs in. He's 1 for 3 today, struck out each of his last 2 at-bats. Blue Crabs need contact here. Swinging a ground ball over to short. Could be 2. On to second for 1. Back on to first. It's a double play. Well, they got contact, but the middle infield did their job. Reyes to Perez to Rodriguez. 6-4-3 to end the top of the 8th inning. And the Revs still hold a 5-4 lead at the end of 7.5. Well, we go to the bottom of the 8th. The Revs still on top by 1. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Dalton Geeky, and you're listening to Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
bring you back in the bottom of the 8th inning. In a 5-4 game, the York Revolution still lead. Geeky back out there in the 8th. First pitch swinging. It's drilled to deep left field. Back to the warning track at the wall. There's no question about that one. A solo shot off the bat of Lenin Rodriguez. And the Revs have taken a 6-4 lead. That ball was blasted from Lenin Rodriguez. And it's a 6-4 game. As the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, after scoring 4 runs in the 3rd inning, have now surrendered 3 unanswered and trail this one 6-4. Lenin Rodriguez hit just his 2nd home run of the year, but that one was a no-doubter, blasted to left center. The first pitch runs inside. On the 9-hitter, Jeffrey Perez, who gave the York Revolution a lead way back in the 6th. This is the 1-0 pitch, cut on and dribbled over to second base. Fielded by Wolanski, who tosses to first in time. There's 1 out. But meanwhile, it's a 6-4 York lead. The Blue Crabs had a chance to tie. They had a chance to go ahead with runners on 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. But after a strikeout and a walk, the bases were loaded with 1 out, and Ryan Howe grounded into a double play. First pitch to the leadoff hitter, Troy Stokes. It's a called strike at the belt, and the count 0-1. Stokes homered to lead off this game. That is one of 4 home runs allowed by Blue Crabs pitching. As the 0-1 pitch is low and away, and the count 1-1 on Stokes. Well, Geeky's gone 2 innings, but he's now allowed that all-important home run as the 1-1 pitch is cut on and fouled back to the screen. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, it will be Elmer Reyes to follow Troy Stokes. 1-2 pitch, low and in. Nicely blocked by Ryan Haug, and the count 1-2. Base paths are empty with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Stokes. Geeky set. Here's the pitch. A little bit up and in. And the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Stokes with the back behind his helmet. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a foul ball, first base side yet again. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Happy to have you with us on a Wednesday evening in York, Pennsylvania. Blue Crabs won game 1 of this series 10-9, but trail here in game 2, 6-4. Here's the 3-2 pitch, swinging a 3-hopper over to short. Fielded on the backhand by Baca. He tosses across the diamond in time, and there are 2 away in the bottom of the 8th. 6-4 York. The Blue Crabs led this one 4-3. Back in the 3rd inning, but a run in the 4th from York. They added another in the 6th and 1 more in the 8th, and lead this game 6-4. You might see Doug Epler dancing in front of our camera as the first pitch is away for ball 1. And he is also the on-field host for York. And he's quite excited with their 2-run advantage and is dancing in front of our camera as a result. Count 1 ball and no strikes. First, that pitch is outside. The count 2 balls and no strikes now with 2 away. It's Elmer Reyes, the 2-hitter in the lineup, who is 1 for 4 today, hitting .328 on the season. 2-0, swinging a high pop-up foul. First base line is going to get into the seats. Well struck by Reyes, probably 280 feet down that right field line. So the count, 2 balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter. Geeky set. Here's the pitch. Swinging a line drive left field, but it's right at Matt Hibbert, who takes only 2 or 3 steps to the left field line where he makes the catch for the final out. Well, after a leadoff home run hit by Lenin Rodriguez in the 8th, it's Geeky who retires York in order at the end of 8 innings of play. It's the Revs 6 and the Blue Crabs 4. Stick with us as we go to the top of the 9th here in York, Pennsylvania.
This is Coach Doug's, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs!
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, we go to the top of the 9th inning. It's Jim Fuller who enters for the York Revolution. First pitch, breaking ball at the knees for strike 1 on Michael Baca. Well, the York Revolution have a 6-4 edge. It was a 4-4 game going into the 6th. They took a 5-4 lead in the bottom of the 6th and extended that to 6-4 in the bottom of the 8th. 0-1, called strike on the outside corner on Baca, and the count no balls and 2 strikes on the righty. It will be 9-1 and 2 in the Blue Crabs order coming to the plate. Baca followed by Hibbert and Wolanski. Hibbert is on deck, no pinch hitter there. This one swinging a high chopper over towards short. It's fielded by Reyes. The throw to first is in time for the first out. Beats Baca by maybe a step or 2. And there's one away in the top of the 9th inning. Brings Matt Hibbert to the plate. And Michael Wolanski does appear to be on deck. So Blue Crabs are going to run with the traditional order here in the 9th. First pitch to Hibbert. Called strike on the inside corner and the count 0-1. 6-4 York. Let's run back through this game briefly. It was York who scored 1 in the first and 2 in the second. Took a 3-0 lead at the time. Here's the pitch from Fuller. Swinging a foul ball off his left shin, right where that shin guard is on the right-handed hitter, Matt Hibbert. Count 0-2. So the Revs led 3-0. The Blue Crabs scored 4 in the 3rd and took a 4-3 lead before York responded in the bottom of the 4th. Tied it at 4. Solo home run from Jeffrey Perez in the 6th. And the 0-2 pitch, breaking ball up the knees for a called strike. And the home plate umpire, Dave Snyder, rings up Matt Hibbert, and there are 2 away. And then in the 8th inning, another home run, this time from Lenin Rodriguez, the catcher. Gave York a 6-4 lead. They have 4 home runs in the game, the Revs do. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the 6th, and 1 in the 8th. Now the pitch is fouled away by Michael Wolanski. Blue Crabs down to their final out. Still within 2 runs. Zach Collier on deck. That does represent that tying run for the Blue Crabs. But Fuller has been very good so far. 0-1 pitch, swinging a one-hopping, weirdly spin ball over to second. Perez has it. The throw to first is in time as the first baseman, Nelly Rodriguez, kept his foot on the bag. So that will do it. Jim Fuller enters in the 9th inning and retires the Blue Crabs in order. Well, it's the York Revolution who take today's game 6-4. We'll run you back through today's ball game as the Blue Crabs will need to take game 3 now if they're going to hold off the York Revolution and win this series. Well, run back through the box score again. For the Blue Crabs, 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors. For York, 6 runs on 12 hits and no errors. York really used the long ball effectively today. For the Blue Crabs, Matt Hibbert was 0 for 4. He did score a run. He also walked. Michael Wolanski, in his first game with the Blue Crabs, was 0 for 3. He walked twice and also scored a run. Zach Collier was 1 for 4, had an RBI single to right field. He also scored a run. Jared Walker was 1 for 4. Alex Crosby 2 for 4. He had the big 3-run home run. That came back in the 3rd inning to give the Blue Crabs a 4-3 lead at the time. Braxton Lee was 1 for 4. He extended his hit streak to 5 games. It was Joe DeLuca, who was 1 for 2 in today's game. He also walked twice. Ryan Haug extended his hit streak to 5 games with a base hit in today's ball game. Alex Crosby also extended his hit streak to 5 games. There was one hit streak that concluded today. That was the 7-game hit streak of Michael Baca coming in to today's contest. We'll run you through all the runs scored now in today's ball game. It started in the bottom of the first with a leadoff home run off the bat of Troy Stokes. Just the second pitch of Blue Crabs starter Denson Hall's evening. Carlos Franco then hit a solo shot in the second to straightaway center field. Tape measure shot that went 418 feet. Then it was Troy Stokes who had a sacrifice fly that drove in Connor Lean. And it gave the York Revolution a 3-0 lead. And with runners on first and third, it was Zach Collier who drove one through the right side for a base hit. It scored Michael Wolanski. And there were still runners on first and third when Alex Crosby drove a 3-run shot over the wall in right field to give the Blue Crabs a 4-3 lead. That lead would not live long, though, as Connor Lean doubled in the bottom of the 3rd inning and brought in Carlos Franco and tied the score at 4. It remained a 4-4 game until the 6th when Jeffrey Perez went deep to left center field and gave the Revs a 5-4 lead. They already had 3 home runs, but the Revs added a 4th when Lenin Rodriguez went to straightaway center for another home run. It was the 4th home run of the game for York. They had 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the 6th, and 1 in the 8th. And that gave the Revs a 6-4 lead, a lead they would hold. The Blue Crabs threatened in the 7th. They had runners on second and third with nobody out. But after Braxton Lee went down swinging, Joe DeLuca walked to load the bases, and Ryan Howe grounded in to a double play. Well, that'll do it from us here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. The Blue Crabs fall 6-4, and they fall to 26-10 on the season. The Blue Crabs will be right back here in York tomorrow night to take on the Revs for Game 3 of this 3-game set. Well, everybody have a terrific evening. Austin Rooney saying so long, and as always, let's go Blue Crabs.